Welcome to the November 20th bhyve production user call. We have Alexi, Hans, Philip, Andrew, Patrick, Goran, Rod, Hazam, Jan, JPO, Levon, and myself, Michael, so far. And I have to think about how to make these calls sustainable. I give them a big chunk of my day, and I'll simply say right here and now, you can support these at bsdfund.org through about 8 different payment mechanisms. Tip jar entries are welcome. It sounds like, Alexi, we came up with a simple patch to get the Intel ARC PCI IDs correct. It sounds like you and Hazam are working on that. Let us know what we can test and all of that. And Hazam, how are you and what is new with Sylve? And while you unmute, I am very happy to say that Ed Mast gave a great Sylve demo at the FreeBSD Vendor Summit in San Jose just recently.
Yeah,
Floor
that
is
was really
yours.
cool. Yeah. Can I share my screen?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm, Can you guys see it?
Uh, yes, I see
Yeah.
myself. Oh dear.
Okay. So the last few weeks I've been working on just a lot of refactoring, I would say, but now we're almost there. And since the refactoring kind of pushed us in a way where we kind of had to do some breaking changes, so I figured, we'll do a lot of cleaning up, and that kind of snowballed into some other things like very different way of managing storage for VMs and jails and things like that. And I'll just walk you through like why we did that and why it's pretty good. So the first thing that we did is kind of make everything modular instead of making it a monolith. So now when you set up Sylve, you kind of see like an initialization page. I'll show you that to you in the end so that I don't mess up the current demo that I have here. Um, but that's pretty cool. And when you create a VM now, you don't have to make the ZFS vaults or file system somewhere else. You can just, pick the pool that you want and then give a disk size and just it just magically takes care of storage stuff for you. And then in hardware, CPU pinning was kind of messy before. So now it's really cool. Now we support multiple sockets. So if you have like this machine doesn't have multiple sockets, but if it does, it will just show up here, and then you can select which cores do you want, and you have to kind of mention how many cores, and you can select as many as you want over here. And yeah, these two are used in a VM that I just made. So that's kind of red here. So that's that. And another big thing is we support cloud init now, like not a subset of cloud init. We support the whole thing. So it just works. It works really well actually. So that's that. And another few things that we did was adding serial support to console. So that's really cool because copy paste works really, really well now. And yeah, that's that for VMs and storage. I would say like storage is a lot more user friendly right now because you don't have to mess with ZFS to start making VMs as fast as possible. So that's that. And yeah, DHCP server is completely done. So and that's really cool because in the demo actually for I think the NetApp, where was that? I don't know. FreeBSD
Yeah.
Vendor Summit. Yeah,
Yep.
they actually used this because they didn't have a network which had multiple IPs, and they didn't have time to set up like an intricate firewall or something like that. So they just set up a DHCP server here, and then gave an address to each VM, and then masqueraded the address out, which was really cool to see because they just made it work. They didn't even ask me about that, which was really cool.
That's a
So
sign of success. Now
yeah,
question
that's a sign
about
of success.
that.
Exactly.
Is
Yeah.
that is that DNS
Yeah.
mask or something else?
Yeah, it's DNS mask. I don't really like it, but the thing is, it comes bundled with libvirt,
Oh,
so you kind of
interesting.
have to live with it. Yeah, which is anyway going to be a pretty big dependency for us. So I figured, why not? So
That's cool.
and it's really lightweight, so it's
Yep.
pretty cool. And it works really well. I play with it all the time now, and it works really well with our objects scheme. So that's that. And I have been playing a lot with firewalls as well. But that might come in a later release because we are putting in way too much things in our basket right now. So that's that. And what else did we do? We did, yeah, networking stuff. We kind of, the thing is, writing to libvirt's config, right? Like that was kind of messy how we did it before. And now it's all optimized. It's very fast, stuff like that. Most of the things you won't see, like it's not out there. But
That's cool.
okay, I'll give you an example of. Yeah, this is a nice quality of life improvement. Like we now have three different kinds of commands, not just stop and start. So you can actually shut down gracefully, or then stop, or reboot, or whatever you want. And if the VM respects it, if the software underlying respects it, it'll work. So before, what I did was when you clicked on stop, I tried to shut it down. If it doesn't shut down, then it sends a kill signal. So now it sends a kill signal only if you explicitly ask it to,
Oh,
which is
okay.
kind of
So
cool.
ACPI first and then kill.
Yeah. You can do that on your own now. Before it was just us doing it for you, right? And the
Right.
other thing is, bhyve is still not that good for shutting down VMs. I have noticed, especially like it's sometimes like it's very rare, but like if you do it like 300 times a day, I've seen it get locked, and I don't know why. I haven't gotten time to debug it. But there's a shutdown wait time here, so it'll wait for that amount of seconds, and then if you want, you can kill it. Like it'll automatically kill it for you, so the
So,
state with libvirt and things like that don't get stuck. Yeah.
so shutting down a busy virtual machine can take several seconds, and even a few minutes wouldn't be totally shocking if something stupid happens.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just because stuff has to be written out to disk, servers are waiting for each other, polling if something is done, and so on shut down, depending on the guest operating system and how many
Mm-hmm.
services and how big the guest. So 10
Mm-hmm.
seconds is, or even a lot more than 10 seconds is very much reasonable and shouldn't be a reason to kill a system
Mm-hmm.
because it's expected that shutting down a system will take more than 10 seconds for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
Just unmounting stuff, flushing network mounts, and so on. Let's say you have a bunch of writes cached on your NFS client, and now it's busy writing all that to the NFS server because the files were delegated.
Mm-hmm.
In that
No,
case,
you're trying to say
well,
the
it's
the
so
time it takes, it might be normal, right? But the thing is, sometimes it just gets stuck indefinitely.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I think the best UI I can think of would be to have a little window with the system console
Mm-hmm.
so that you can get like a preview of what's happening, even if it's too small to read, you could see that something is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Block the stuff you have to by graying it out, but don't just block the whole UI. So that because I can see an operator coming along and wanting to stop
Mm-hmm.
5 virtual machines, so,
Mm-hmm.
and the user will just select the VM, click shutdown, click on the next, click shutdown, don't
Mm-hmm.
lock them out and make them wait until the first one has stopped. Because maybe I
Mm-hmm.
want to just stop multiple in short succession, as directly just in short succession, and be happy to just let them shut down in their own good time.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, if give it maybe a 5 minute alarm, and after 5 minutes raise a warning, guest is not shutting down. After 10, make it guest fail to shut down or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For reboots, the same. Uh, and then, yeah, a little warning tab you can open up with the warnings and the errors. And something in the lower left corner where you get like the log and then filtered by just warnings and errors.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
That's kind of what.
Yeah, so yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, that's how kind of like how Proxmox does it in a way, and that's really cool. But the thing is, we, as you said, like a console would be nice, but we don't get much. The only thing that we get is the RFB from the Hive and serial if it is available. And
Hmm.
that's not very useful because once the ACPI commands take over, like I don't see many logs, especially in Linux VMs. I'm not sure about Windows or other
So,
operating systems, but in Linux VMs, I don't see anything. But sometimes it just gets blank, like it blanks out, and then it
mhm.
sometimes even holds the RFB port like weirdly. And libvirt, funnily enough, thinks it's dead,
Mhm.
and that's the
So,
problem here. Because when I started again, like the VM again, it
mhm.
really messes up because libvirt is like, okay, this was not dead yet, or this was dead, and I don't know about the state of it yet. So when I try to start it again, it gets even more messy. Then what I had to do
Mhm.
is I had to kill libvirt, and then it's a whole big thing. But
Yeah.
Roman told me that he worked on it a bit, but still he was like, we gotta fix it in bhyve instead of fixing it in libvirt, and that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, but
Um,
the UI thing that you mentioned about putting it in like a background task makes a lot of sense.
Well,
so you have two events of deadness, and
Hmm.
there's the exit of the bhyve user space process, and there's the destruction of the dev VMM device.
Hmm.
Bhyve can be asked via the configuration file or command line flags to, in certain conditions, destroy the guest device, so the dev VMM device. But
Hmm.
normally it doesn't. And for this kind of manager, you probably want to handle that because there's a third option you are not exposing yet, but which would be important for debugging, and that is halting the guest. So shutting down the guest without destroying the virtual machine device so that I can then use something like bhyve control to debug it or
Oh, okay,
attack.
yeah, makes sense. Yeah. I get it.
That's kind of a corner case. 99% of users don't want to halt a system because then you don't release the memory.
Hmm.
But if the system is doing something strange, I may want to halt it and then debug the corpse.
Hmm.
Um,
Makes sense.
but
uh,
again, just a corner case.
so
But
quick.
once the
Quick.
bhyve process has died, which you can find the pin of and then use KQ to attach to get the event, or if you're just, I don't know how libvirt handles that.
No, they
Uh,
just have timeouts. They have weird timeouts, and that's how they pretty much do it everywhere on Linux as well. They have timeouts, and they don't do much parsing of any kind of system logs or queues or events or anything like that. They
mhm,
just send a signal. If it doesn't happen in this much time, they error out. In Proxmox, it errors out. They use libvirt as well. They error out,
mhm.
and then the user kind of have to deal with them on their own. But
So
yeah.
does libvirt have a kind of force destroy option so that you can destroy the VMM device through libvirt even if they think it's kind of stuck or this?
Yes, they actually do. But the thing is, when libvirt does that, what libvirt does is send an underlying bhyve CTL command, I think. And
Mhm.
it's when bhyve CTL itself is broken, the thing is, libvirt doesn't know that, bhyve CTL didn't do the thing that it was supposed to do.
Hmm.
So that's when things get kind of weird.
Oh, interesting. Because that
Actually,
was
bhyve
going to
this
be
is a
my
very recent
question.
CTL
comment on that.
destroy has never failed to destroy a device for me.
Sorry?
The bhyve CTL dash dash destroy dash dash VM name of virtual machine
Mm-hmm.
invocation has never failed for me in my
Mm-hmm.
experiments. Maybe there are cases where it does, which I haven't seen in other years, but still. Uh,
Yeah, that makes sense, but it kind of happens when you start and stop it a lot of times, which I don't think will happen in production because I have a couple
but
of
it still has
clients
to
now who
work.
actually use. Yeah, that's what. It's really weird to do that because I don't think anybody would do that in
Everyone will
production.
do that. If you
Seriously,
have
like
lots
a
of
few minutes.
virtual machines enabled to auto start on boot, you will
Mm-hmm.
start dozens of virtual machines on a big host in parallel.
No. I'm
So,
not talking about starting. Talking about shutting them down and then shutting it up and then shutting it down again
okay.
and then shutting it up again. This cycle
Yeah, it's
won't
a bit
happen, right?
unusual,
Yeah. So when you're
but
testing the UI, what I do is I can stop it and then start it and then stop and start it. I do it in like a 60-second span. I do it like three, four times. And
yeah.
then I see once or twice it getting stuck. But the thing is, I thought I was the only one. But then Roman said like, okay, he was able to reproduce this, but he was like, okay, I'm not sure what to do. And he did a few things, I think. I'm not sure about that, but it annoys me because I kind of have to work with this, and then I get stuck. So that's that. And the thing is, as I said, since libvirt is not aware of this issue, what happens is everything gets stuck. Like I have to restart libvirt, and then I have to reinitiate an RPC connection back from Goland,
Oh,
and that's not fun.
no.
Yeah. So wait, there's this thing that I was doing like to kill it. No, this is for TPM. When I'm not able, yeah, this one. This is the thing. What I do is I get the PID from the VNC port because that's the only thing we know about the VM that runs, and then I kill the process manually. So this works.
Oh,
You could ask the kernel for the process which has opened the dev VMM device
Mm-hmm.
with fstat or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we could
Uh,
do that. That might be cleaner. Yeah. But yeah, this thing ideally shouldn't be here. Like that was the like contention. But it's such a small thing, I believe, because some of the places that I run this stuff on now, I really don't think it's an issue, but it's just fun to talk about.
well,
And another thing that you mentioned, which is really cool, is being able to stop multiple VMs at once and not have the UI block them. That is really, really nice. I didn't think about that. So we should kind of work on that.
yeah,
And another thing that I just remember something.
I
Uh,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
I think it makes sense that if you're shutting down a virtual machine and it doesn't stop, that after like 30 seconds or so, you offer a force kill button,
Mm-hmm.
or even you offer one immediately and you can just click it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if I don't want a clean shutdown, I just want it gone, right? Set a secure
Mm-hmm.
to bhyve and then destroy the VMM device.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you can do that through libvirt.
No, I don't think you can do that through libvirt. But the thing is, we bypass libvirt and things like that anyway, because that's what we're doing right now. It's just not exposed in the UI. So
Or
we
so
could do that.
do you do a beehive control destroy like Jan mentioned?
No, that's what libvirt does. But
Or
bhyve
it's
control
trying to
destroy,
and
it
maybe
doesn't
it's
kill it, right?
failing. So
Yeah.
I would do a
Right
simple
now,
test
what I
for the
do is I just say
device
kill it.
in dev and then a manual kill and then check again, perhaps. Just kill it with fire, as they
Mm-hmm.
um,
say.
There's upcoming change for the restart, I think. Well, for the beehive, I've seen Bland's commit in main that changes. I didn't really understand what, but
Do you have a link to
changes
it?
the architect. No, it's in the Git source tree
Okay, I'll take
in
a look.
base.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know if. 15.1 will have it or 16 because I don't know, it's from what I understand dramatic change, and that is that you will have a privileged process and unprivileged process. And once the unprivileged process dies with I think 0, 1, and 3, which is shutdown, reboot, and something unknown,
alt
or yeah,
and
so
triple fault
something.
is also an option.
So the privileged process will know what to do with it, and then restarting bhyve will actually restart. So I imagine there are going to be changes around the handling of the restart itself, but I don't know uh, what does the libvirt do about that. It's I know it's not a lot of info, it's more of a heads up. I remember that commit because I Well, when I'm in Zagreb, I usually ping Boyan, so we hang out. And I was looking and saw a familiar name, so I read the Git comment, and I don't have any more info than that.
Do you remember a keyword from it? I'm looking at the history and I only see some things from July to the bhyve user space utility, like TPM,
No,
Aegis,
shouldn't be.
Numa. That's a while ago.
Uh, Give me a few minutes.
Yeah,
I'll
okay,
try
cool.
to
Okay,
find it myself.
cool. So yes, Hizam, I guess there's always room for improvement on terminating VMs. Go ahead and continue with your demo if you kept a train of thought.
I think that's about it.
Okay, you mentioned
I'm pretty sure. Ah,
modularity, and
yeah.
I have a question about
I-181
storage.
is
Oh,
okay.
hey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, you showed language selection?
Yeah. I did languages that I know now,
Okay,
and
cool.
that's so. If you guys want to contribute, that's kind of cool. So,
Uh, what mechanism, like PO files or something? It's been a while since I've
yeah,
looked
it's
at
whole
those.
files. So there
Okay,
are what are the PO files? Yeah.
yeah,
So you can just edit it here, and then it should work.
Oh,
cool. Lobby.
Yeah. And I didn't
Oh,
do this
feature
because I was
requests
lazy. Sorry.
would be to, oh, okay, you have the language selection on the login screen. Very good.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
language support.
yes, exactly.
I can
Quite
translate it
cool.
to Russian if you want.
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead. I
Very
can make a
nice.
file for you.
Yep.
Okay, I have not translated software before, so this will be fun.
It's a good learning experience. So about how
No,
many strings is
this
that,
is
just
a
in
really
general?
cool library that we actually sponsored a while back. This is the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like
Goodness,
this
do
is so
tell.
because you can just you can
Mm.
see that we were the first user of this library when it came out, and it is so cool because we don't have to work on any strings or things like that in the actual code. We just write English and then it picks out the words and then puts it in a nice file like this, and we can just edit it, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Is it
Yep.
AI or pre-AI?
It's I'm pretty sure it's AI not pre AI. There are some things that are AI-ish, like you can do live translation with
Oh,
Gemini
wow.
and stuff. It's not cool. I've tried it out, but Gemini has gotten a lot better. I haven't tried since like it's been a year almost, I think. But the library actually is really really cool. It's really fast. It's extremely fast. Like what was I've tried a lot of libraries in the internationalization space, and this is one of the best. I'm not sure why more people are not using this because you can translate every app. I've done it to almost all my web apps, like open source and otherwise, because of this. So that's really nice.
So you build it into Sylve?
Sorry?
If it's a library, do you build it into Sylve?
Yeah, we do. We kind of package it in.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And in the end user, what it does is it generates like JavaScript files, so it doesn't need the entire thing. It kind of compresses it on its own,
Huh.
and it does a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. And the beauty of it is, like before this, you kind of have to focus on writing strings in a way that is supported by these like uh, translation applications, maybe. Now I can just write English like this, and it picks these words out, and then fills that PO file that I showed you earlier. And PO is kind of the standard, I would say. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And
That's a whole angle I hadn't considered, and the fact that it's right off the bat at login is quite cool.
Yeah.
yep.
And if you can do it at runtime, it's important that you can also easily switch back, even if you can't understand the language you
The
switch
menu,
to.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So make it a little flag symbol or something,
hmm
and maybe give English a fallback button so
Or a
that you
world
can.
symbol, something cute like that.
Uh,
Um,
I mean, I had to laugh when I saw the difference between British English and American English in Chinese software, where they had English with the UK flag and then
Simplify.
English with an American flag, and it embraces simplified.
Well, and on the call, we have like what, 5 languages present. So that is great news. I do have a storage question, but go ahead and describe the modularity you led with. You say you divided it up for sanity's sake.
You can start fresh. Okay. Let me just make a backup just in case.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
By the way, I can't find a commit. I must have been hallucinating, but I clearly remember reading the commit message.
Fresh BSD can be your friend.
Okay, so this is the initialization page. So you can kind of pick what you want, and if you don't want anything, you can
What
just
are
play
you
with the
using
limits.
Wake on LAN for?
Sorry?
What is Wake on LAN used for?
Oh, okay. So to start VMs and jails and things like that. So you can send wake on LAN packets and they would start.
Oh, nice.
Neat.
Yeah. And that's built in. Like you don't have to install any dependencies. I just wrote a small Go server for that, and it's really fast. So
That's cool.
this is it. And I'm making this editable within like runtime, so you can change it if you have requirements. And that's it. So once it initializes, you can kind of get the menus that you selected and things like that. And dependencies are checked there. So if you don't have, like for instance, you selected DHCP and then you don't have DNS mask installed, it'll complain there instead of at the program startup time. So that's that. And yeah, this is going to be quite a big of a breaking change because there's so many things that we added. I think it's like what, like 50,000 lines of code now. So yeah, I think this will be the last breaking change that we make. So that's that. Famous last words, I think.
Right.
So, yeah. So yeah, that's about it. Any questions you guys have?
I've got 2, but other people can
So,
jump in.
one question I had is, what if I want
Hmm.
to have a virtual machine where I want to create a small boot device and a big data device doing virtual
Hmm.
machine creation? Is that supported, or would I have to go back and add the storage before I started? So let's say I want a 128 gig system disk and a 1
Hmm.
terabyte data disk for my virtual machine.
Hmm. Okay, you can't do that at this create page because I kind of wanted to keep it smaller, but you can definitely do that later on, like when you go to the VM space. So let's just try that out. Like if I do test, oh, I can't use
Oh,
this because I already, let me just put back my original DB so we have a VM to play with. Oh, damn, I deleted my backup.
No.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so let's say we make a VM with ZBall. Let's put it in this. Let's say 22. Let's say no switches, nothing.
So you can still have manual storage management,
Yeah, yeah.
because keep in mind,
So
quite a few people will be importing disk images maybe
Yeah,
converted
importing
from
is fine. You
VMware
can't
clones.
do it live. Like you can't really keep using that storage. For instance, let's assume you have a ZWall created here. Let's say we make the ZWall. We make it here. We make it called test.
Oh,
We
okay.
give it. What is failing here? Okay, dataset already exists. Yeah. Let's make something else. Let's make it. Okay. So now that we have this ZWall, let's assume that this is my original disk or whatever it is. I can import it into my VM. So what I would do is I would say import it or something like that. I can import, select
Oh,
the
cool.
ZWall, select what type, and then select which pool. In this pool, we have this is the one we just made. We select NVMe, let's say bootloader 0. Bootloader is non-functional because bhyve doesn't support it yet, but I think at one point they will, so I just kind of added it. Um,
You can
stored,
fake it by
sorry.
you can fake the bootloader as long as you don't have a UEFI and variables file for the VM and just do the empty one. It will go by order of PCI ID.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. But
The
I kind
problem
of,
with that is if your
yeah.
operating system requires an EFI boot entry, because something
Mm-hmm.
like Debian, where they don't install a bootloader in the portable location by default,
Mm-hmm.
unless
Mm-hmm.
you change this with deb config,
Mm-hmm.
you can change it, but by default they only install it in the, just like the spec kind of says you're supposed to, give your operating system bootloader a name and then a boot manager entry, and that's written to the EFI variables, which
Mm-hmm.
are in bhyve preserved by having two files, one for the EFI code and one for the variables.
Mm-hmm.
And if you persist the variable file, yeah, serving then changing the PCI IDs doesn't matter. But as long as
Mm-hmm.
your operating systems are portable, like
Uh-huh.
FreeBSD is by default, and several Linux distros, but not all of them, you can kind of cheat by not having the variables preserved across reboot and then reordering the PCI IDs because it
Mm-hmm.
goes lowest ID first.
Mm-hmm. No, the thing is, the reason why I kind of swayed away from that was the fact that sometimes you kind of need to edit UEFI variables, like
Yes.
especially when you're importing in VMs from weird places like Azure. Like I had this really weird issue where they did something with the bootloader of one of my Ubuntu VMs, and I had to go into the UEFI shell, maybe like mess around with the variables a little bit,
Yeah.
and I was really grateful that existed because if it didn't, it would have been such a pain.
Yep.
But yeah, I kind of get your point as well because I actually wanted to do that first because then the UI makes a lot of sense. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Again, it said it's a workaround. It's not a solution.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, makes sense. Maybe we could give it as an option because that also makes a lot of sense, at least for the time being until things start working. Um, so that's that. And yeah, so
Something else which
yeah.
would be nice is to have a warning when you're not assigned, where if you're creating a virtual machine where on all disks, the first and last megabyte of the all disks is zero, maybe give
Mm-hmm.
a warning because then you don't have
Oh
a
yeah,
boot
that
device.
yeah, that is fixed now. So like when you try to let's say nothing is selected here, no installation media, no storage, nothing, and then it kind of says like you have to manually select, like you have to say like let's say, see, you have to manually select saying okay, I don't want anything, like um,
Yeah,
yeah. I learned this from that what is that, the event
yeah,
where they
from
made it
the
without
vendor
an
summit
yeah yeah
demo where
yeah yeah
yeah, exactly. And
yeah yeah. So this
it's
is
not a
fixed.
major problem. It's just
Annoying, yeah.
something, it's an annoying stumbling block for someone who's not yet familiar with the tool.
Mm-hmm.
It's just creating a good experience. You don't want to annoy your user.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, uh,
Yep. So any other questions? Like,
Yes. I'm
yeah.
curious about how many strings are there in the PO files? Should someone think, hey, I speak, insert language here. Do I spend a day on it, a week on it, an hour on it?
Let's see. There is 1052 lines on it.
1052?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'll make a note of that in a
No,
minute.
that's 5,000 lines, but yeah, 1,052 messages.
Yeah, messages, yeah.
Messages, thank you. Well, strings, messages, whatever. Okay, cool. So you're saying storage can be completely bring your own.
Yeah. But the
Great.
thing is, it's not as I would say not as Unixy. It's a little bit like Proxmox because we kind of now if you see here like all the VMs store their disks under this Sylve/virtual machine slash blah blah blah, and jails would come the same way. It's done because it makes management a lot simpler, backups a lot simpler. We kind of had a long discussion about this in our Discord, and we kind of settled on this because this is easier at the end of the day for both us and the user. Because if you want to kind of replicate this to another node, it becomes really simple because all you have to do is kind of just send this.
So
Well, so what happens if
Yep.
I have a dedicated Z pool with 1,000 VMs? Can I symlink disk images in, or what would I do? Or
You
set
would
a
have to
mount point
import them.
there? Just
Uh,
set the ZFS mount point there, or does it use the actual ZFS path?
It uses
String.
it kind of snapshots the volume that you have into a new volume. So that's what it does right now. So yeah.
So
So
just to be
importing kind of
clear,
works like that.
well, okay, but if I do have a massive Z pool full of virtual machines, can I point at it in some way or not?
You point at it somewhere.
Like, can
so
I set the
Okay,
mount
you want to
point to
use it
be,
as is.
yeah, exactly, as
Like,
is. I mean,
okay,
you
you
want
want to
people to
use
migrate
like
to
zroot
it.
OpenWRT as is. No, as is not going to work right now because then we come back to the initial problem that we had, which was different Z pools, different volumes, different file systems all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of makes management really hard.
but what you could do probably pretty easily is to
Mm-hmm.
have an adopt/import a data set on the same pool. So if Slyve is already managing something on the pool, that you can give it a foreign data set and it will rename it into the right naming scheme. So if I have my zroot/openwrt, I could just say import existing data set, and then I select the pool. It must be one Slyve is configured to use. And then I can just have it, and it would move it into, I don't know, Slyve virtual machines unassigned zvol whatever.
Wait, is that cheap? Like,
Yeah,
Well,
as rename is a cheap operation.
what if there's
okay.
nesting?
What?
What if there's nested data
Okay,
sets?
let's try that out. Like, if there's zroot/openwrt, and if I want to move it to, let's say,
Yeah, the perfect example right there.
let's say zvol 100, what would I actually do?
ZFS rename
That's it.
and then old new.
Okay, so if I just do this,
Well, what about the nesting? It took care of that? Okay.
Yes, it
and-
works recursively.
nice.
Oh, well, there
So
you
yeah,
go.
zvols, yeah, zvols. We're gonna do this then. This seems so much simpler. So it works in the same pool, right?
Yes, it works within a pool.
Yeah,
You
Okay.
can't
won't
rename
work.
across pools.
It won't work across pools.
Across
Yeah.
pools, you would have to do send, pipe, receive, and then after successful send, you could destroy the source.
Exactly.
That's how you would handle a rename. Just like under the hood, the move mv command in Unix does a rename within the same file system and a copy followed by a delete across file systems.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay.
And
That's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. This is cool. This is really nice. We could do this.
I I'm surprised they handled the nesting, which is fantastic. And does it, but it does it
Yes.
with a copy, Jan. So if it was terabytes in size, it
Huh?
would sit if
No. CFS rename is just rename the name of a data set.
Yeah,
including the
it's
nesting,
just metadata.
including the
It's
nesting.
Plus
it's
keep
basically constant cost per
Got it.
data set.
Fantastic.
keep in
Yeah,
mind that the mount point and the
I use it.
the data set
Sorry.
in the hierarchy of ZFS and the mount point are two different things.
No question.
So you can have an
So the
arbitrarily
inherited,
completely different mount point for something below the Sylve virtual machines or anything. And this
yeah,
is
so
all of this is also O of one, so constant cost for
Yep. Fantastic.
everything.
and yeah, if the mount point is inherited, it will be updated as part of the new inheritance. If you have
Oh,
this
okay.
Of course.
explicitly configured mount point set, like mount
Mm-hmm.
with 2/MNT2 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
then that's not changed. So for jails, you also have to think about the mount point property. So that, but then in the import screen, you can just say mount point either inherit or explicitly configure a relative path relative to the jail root. So if someone were to import a file system into a jail, you would either ask them to pick a jail and then a path within the jail is a relative path, kind of, which also works. Or you could just say inherit, and then it would be inherited into the data set jail as whatever the data set name is. So if you inherit a data set where the last component is home and you import it into a jail, it would be mounted as /home.
Makes sense.
With, yeah,
Love it.
the point where you are importing the, you could then import the data set my pool slash old jail slash home.
Mm-hmm.
It would work recursively. So if you have multiple users, each with their own home file system, it just works.
I have another question, somewhat related. Have you
Okay.
used QEMU image for conversion, and could it have a GUI option to say, point at my QCAT2 image and make it either raw or ZVol?
I could do. I was looking into that. Thing is, for the cloud init stuff, I did some, extraction work, like because most of these providers, especially DB and Ubuntu and things like that, they provide you like nice little tarballs which you can kind of download. So I built in extraction here. So I could throw in image what is it called, image conversion stuff, because that's also kind of useful over here. So we would have extract automatically and then also like image conversion to raw or whatever it is.
Yeah,
We could do
raw
that.
or ZVol
Yeah.
would be very cool insofar as, I mean, I've done it
Oh yeah,
successfully
ZVol
with
is definitely already there.
VHDX
Like what you can
images.
do is if you have an image downloaded and you want to, flash it
Oh,
on a ZVol,
oh,
you
I
can
see.
select,
Interesting.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's that.
So it would just be an extra step to go from, 4 and
Ah,
5.
yeah.
Note that, well, one, bhyve has not received the support for UPB's work on supporting QCAT2 natively in other formats, but the conversion step would be helpful for some because, hey, it's generally a one-way road anyway. You want to be on, away from your old hypervisor and onto the new one and get the benefits of ZFS. So that's your friend.
Yep.
Those were my questions. Other people must have questions. Levon, Hans, Patrick, Philip, Goran, again, Andrew, Gladney.
You mentioned firewalls.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the problem with firewalls is that there are two, even if PF has a larger following, IPFW may be the easier to automate one, potentially the slightly faster one.
Okay, so I'll tell you my problem. My problem is like if I go into this right now,
Yeah.
this is what I was testing with. So like I put pf configure, like users can do whatever they want.
Okay, what's your
And
tanker anchor?
Yeah, I don't remember where this was. Let me just see. Yes, this is here. So, what I was thinking was, excuse me, I would have a Sylve anchor here, and then I would put all my configs there. Or I would have multiple anchors, for one for NATing, one for
Yeah,
traffic
you
rules,
can have
one
an
for that.
anchor
Let him
with a
finish.
wildcard
Mm-hmm.
so that you have like anchor Slyvey/star,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can use pfctl to put things in there under that anchor, like
Mm-hmm.
Slyvey/guest name,
Mm-hmm.
and write to just that part of the configuration.
Yeah, that's what I was
The
thinking about.
include
Yeah.
automation will just collect them all into one effective rule set.
Makes sense. So that is the reason why I like this a lot. Because one, because of documentation. It's something that I can understand, read really quick, and since it's used everywhere, since it's popular, um, I kind of get the gist that it might be easier. Maybe you're right. Maybe automation is much simpler on IPFW, and I would be really, really happy to be proven wrong because I didn't work much on this. The only thing that I did was, play with anchors a little bit because it's been a while since I played with PF.
So with
Yeah.
IPFW, you have a lot more powerful tables. In
Mm-hmm.
PF, tables are just sets of IP addresses,
Mm-hmm.
potentially with negatives, but basically it's a set of IP addresses where each entry is a prefix, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
But in IPFW, you can have a table which matches on multiple fields. So you can have both match on an IP address and a port with a single table. So you could match on the protocol, the IP address, and the port all in once.
Mm-hmm.
And then the table doesn't just match or not match, but it can map to values. For example, the rule number to take. So that you can then say, hey, jump to this rule if this condition is matched. That means you can have ridiculously large rule sets perform well if you express them
Oh,
as
okay.
tables.
So that kind of sounds like enough tables to me.
It is, I sometimes jokingly call IPFW the firewall construction kit.
Okay, makes sense because that sounds exactly like enough tables. Like it's really, really funny. Um, I love enough tables because it's really cool. Like when you mention like really, really large rule sets, right? Like this is my home router and it jumps from one place to another, to another, to another, to another. Like it just keeps going like that, and it's really, really easy to automate as well. Um,
And
so
really,
yeah.
really annoying to use as a human being.
Nah, it's fun. It's really, really fun. Once you get the hang of it, it's like System D. Like once you get the hang of it, it's really, really fun. It's really like
Blink
System D.
twice as they hold a gun to your head.
Oh, goodness. You said NF tables is the name?
Yeah. This is
Uh,
the go-to on
Okay.
Linux.
Can
Got
we
it.
talk about something else real quick?
Yes.
So I'm currently looking at FreeBSD 15's bhyve source code and the FreeBSD main branch. And there seems to be an Intel GPU PCIe-d file. It has the PCIe-Ds for Intel GPUs for like some sort of a check similar to what I'm doing for like seeing like is this an Intel GPU? But um yeah, FreeBSD main current's no longer 15. I realized that. But um I'll say
Do you have a link
it
to it?
contains GPUs that do not support GVT-d. So like it checks for if the GPU is in like the list, if the GPU is an Intel GPU, but then it just like if you have an Intel Iris Xe GPU that does not support GVT-d, it still continues, and you will have the same thing as an Intel ARC. So it will not pass through.
Do you have a link to that patch or commit?
A link to the patch, like the code
Whatever in the
that
code, just
FreeBSD 15
like
has.
a cget.FreeBSD link.
Yep, let me just find it
I
on
had to
cget.
model it after my day.
Okay.
Tree.
Levon, you got something?
User has been bhyve.
And Hazam, Jan had a question in chat, which is if you're using DNS mask, can you set bhyve names based on static leases?
Assign
It often
static lease.
The other way
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
So
Easily.
Right?
can I assign a
Oh,
static
yeah.
lease to a VM name
Oh, yeah.
by
Mhm.
name of the VM rather than having to look up the MAC address at runtime and then put in an entry?
Okay, now you're describing why we, started using objects. Like this is vindication right here because when I started off with objects, people didn't like it. But so what you do right now is when you make a VM, right? Like when you attach a switch to it, like it auto generates a MAC address for you, and with that MAC address, it gives a nice little name. You know what? I'm going to show you that right now.
Okay, go
Um,
ahead.
I mean, historically, FreeBSD had the ethos file where you had a MAC address to name mapping.
mhm.
It's no longer commonly used, but it still works.
Okay.
TC ethos.
This is what I do actually. So let's say you have a VM here and you have, let's say we make a new network, make a new blank switch. Let's call it LAN. Let's create that. Oh, I already have a switch called LAN, I guess, but it's okay. And we're gonna, remember I just started working on this and I think everything broke. Everything broke. Let's just go here. This is one of my test machines, I would say. And then here, like let's say standard switches, let's make one. Okay, so now when you create a VM, right? Let's say this is my Postgres jail. Okay, so in the network, you can see that when I attached it to the WAN switch, it automatically kind of generates a MAC address for it with its name. So then when you want to have a lease made, what you would do is you would go into leases here, add a new lease, and then you select the identifier from this. You kind of see the name and the MAC address here.
Nice.
Name given more
Nice.
priority. So you select Postgres WAN, and then it just does the magic underneath. And it also supports DUIDs. So if you want to mess with IPv6, so that's also going to work because DHCP, I mean DNS mask does that as well. That's really cool. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. And this thing that we did, like we did it from the very beginning because I knew this question would come, and I've faced the same issue on Proxmox so many times that I run an OpenWRT or an OpenSense instance just to not do this. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I'm very sleepy right now, but
Okay.
that part of the code I sent it in SideShot.
Yes, thank you for that. I put it in the document.
Yes.
Let me go back to the share.
Yep.
Hello,
Go
Sylve.
to SideShot. Michael Dexter,
Yeah.
please share your screen.
I'm getting there.
Yep.
So you've got the PCIDs file and that one. Is your patch on the interwebs?
How do I remove zoom from full screen? It's full screen now.
Okay. So, it sounds like these one or both are not doing the right thing, correct?
I don't quite see where it is checking if the GPU is too new for GVT-d.
Okay. Got that right. And then you said you had a patch that you might send to Hans, was it?
Yeah, well, that would duplicate the GPU IDs. That would
But it sounds
have
like you
two
get part
pairs
of
of
it
G.
correct in ways this doesn't.
Yeah, it would work, but it would have two files of GPU IDs then in the code base after that.
Well, so it sounds like they have to be merged in some way. right?
Yeah.
Go ahead and mail that off, and Hans, take note of those, and hopefully you two or three with Izam can make sense of that. Approaches it. Oh, well, good night, Alexei. Thank you so much. Different. I'll figure a way to put that. And Hazam, thank you for that fantastic demo. That is great.
We should just have a variable that you can set of -o that will disable GVT-d. It will just pass through the GPU normally.
That's one possibility. Could it not be intelligent and do the right thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, so let's, oh gosh, I will document that here as best I can, but let's try to
Intel
get
is
the
no
best
longer bringing
behavior
out,
possible. Yes, Jan?
given that Intel is no longer bringing out new GPUs, with that we could just enumerate them all.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I have in
Known
my
product
patch.
range.
That's what I have in my patch, but
Could you drop your patch on a gist or something or anything, just so it's out there and I can link it?
okay.
Something, just so that it can be side by side
The
here.
option to play around with it, because GVT-d has some performance overhead, and maybe even on a system which supports it, you want to pass the full GPU completely through, if that's possible.
And hide chat.
So just one note about the PF. Well, IPFW has it too, but if it was about the PF this evening, it has a self keyword which comes really, really handy, especially self in parentheses, meaning all my and only my IP addresses, not of my jails. So here, if you put it in parentheses, then even if you add a new IP address, that keyword is dynamic. I mean, parentheses in PF make things appear dynamic anyway, so this follows that logic.
And
They
you
are also
appreciate that.
needed to make negation work correctly, because otherwise negating a match gets the negation expanded to each individual in the macro. So if you have a multi-value macro, it will negate every one of them, which is never what you want. You want the whole set negated. That you either need a table or a dynamic match. It's a bit annoying.
Hazam, did that make sense?
Um,
As you go down the road of
Michael,
FreeBSD firewall?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
So Goran made a comment of how the parentheses, I believe, in PF are one nice, two make negation work correctly. So it's just the
No,
comparison
it's
of IPFW.
let,
Hopefully I got
let's
that right.
say you write something like IGB 0:network. If you do that normally, it gets expanded at configuration load time. And if you then reconfigure that, it won't match. You can put it in round brackets and then it will still match, but it's dynamically looked up every time you match the rule. So there's a performance cost to that. Exactly. If you do the self match, the trick you can do is you create a table named self, initialize it once with it, and then you can reload just the table definition. But
no,
there's no.
no. Self is a keyword. It already exists. You
Yes,
don't have
but you
to.
can create a table named self for negation to work. That's faster than doing the self match on every rule evaluation. So then have a table named self which you initialize with the keyword. That allows you to negate something like not self without having to do it dynamically.
Yeah, but depends what you want.
Okay,
If you
when
have,
when it's time to dive into firewalling, feel free to jump in here. There are many experienced users because we could probably go on all day and we could arguably have a firewalling call, but that's not for right now. Anything last on, oh yes, Alex, if you happen to make a gist, great, or some way to get your patch, but it sounds like these need to be homogenized in some way. Uh, anyway, and you maybe dozed off. I can't blame you. I should consider that.
I have one question to Hezam.
Yes, Patrick.
Not trying not to put any pressure on you. The work you have been done, let me say that first, is amazing, and you've getting out feature after feature for VMs, networking, ZFS management, and everything. But do you have a plan when you will start to intensify work on jails, on the jail framework, so we can have options like mount procfs, mount fdiskfs, mount limprocfs, and certain tweaks that IO Cage or BUST provide that I personally would need to migrate off of TrueNAS Core and onto Sylve to run my applications.
Great question. And yes, for jails, I'm gonna do like uh, as you said, Lin, ProcFS, all that stuff. I do need that because I like running Linux jails. That's one reason, and the second reason is it's just cooler. And you said like production users need that to be able to migrate because I can't cover all bases, right? So I'll definitely do that before we go into ports. And yeah, that's pretty much in our roadmap, 100%. And I've been talking with DCH as well, and I really love where Podman is going with OCI and things like that. So that's a huge thing that he also wanted to collaborate and work on that because we kind of align on a lot of different kind of clustering stuff and things like that. And I played with Podman a lot during the last few days. I mean, last few weeks, I would say, and it's really really fun, especially with jails.
That's great.
So that's gonna be coming in, and he said he might be able to give me some sponsors for that, which is also cool. So yeah, so Jails and this extra config that you guys want definitely be there. That's for sure.
Interesting for this use case, FreeBSD 15 will bring more different types of Hotman compatible container images as part of the release process. So now we have one with and without toolchain. So basically, slightly stripped down and a self-hosting image to start from.
Yeah, like that is something that I thought about a lot, but I'm not, that smart about release stuff. So if anybody wants to help me out with that, like make an image or things like that, that will be really great because as you said, people when they have access to easy to use things like that will probably get on this really quickly. So I'm looking forward to anybody helping me out on that. Like
Note the
great.
Tuesday jail calls, and we've been discussing this quite a bit. And in fact, I think we discussed DCH's update just the other day, and it's posted. So,
Okay.
one, thank you so much. How can we all help at this time? Is it at a good point for testing?
It was until like 2, 3 weeks ago when we stopped. I mean, we brought everything down and then
Refactor?
started rebuilding things.
Sure.
Uh, that's been horrible. But I feel like it's a good thing that we did that because if
Of
we
course.
had gone to production with whatever we had, these changes would make a lot of people mad. Now it's just some people getting mad.
When
So yeah.
approximately should people start testing again?
I once I get refactor merged into master, that's
Okay,
the good time.
got
I
it.
think we are
Well,
like 10 or 15 commits away. We are like 40 commits in now. And I don't like, working on these huge branches. But yeah, we'll make it work, I think. Hopefully.
great. Okay, well, keep us posted. I'm so
Yep,
glad
we'll
you
do.
have been
Thank
able
you
to
so
share
much
that.
for you
Hey,
you guys, for all your
yeah,
questions and things like that.
our absolute pleasure. We're all
Yeah.
very excited, and when Ed Mass is excited, that's a very good sign. And giving demos with it. Okay, let's not forget, Goran, you mentioned audio. Were you referring to the HDA high definition audio controller or something else?
I think that's the one. Um, the thing is, well, I always experiment something with audio, and it's easier when it's kernel, it's easier to do it in a bhyve, so, well, I don't blow up something vital. And one of the things that happens in the process of initializing your sound device is you're going to ask through ioctl your device, hey, how many bytes should I allocate so that on every read, I would read in that many bytes and put them in that buffer. Same happens for the playback or the write. And if I have two channels of input and output on the device, I get different number of bytes. It works, but it shouldn't be like that. Now, maybe there's a 50-50 chance that my code is quirky and it's not about the bhyve at all, but I have to research more and see what's going on. When there is a simple application that just wants audio, like you have an application that wants to do something or notification or play a sound, you practically don't care. You will usually allocate two channels anyway, and you know how big that is. Uh, Meaning how big in measured in bytes. But when you're doing something more precise with the audio, the number of, well, the metadata that is returned to you through ioctl is crucial and you're gonna believe it. So I would like to be able to do my exploration in a VM until the I confirm that either my code is faulty or the bhyve has some quirky stuff. I hope that the card for PCIe card with USB ports will arrive so I can pass through to the VM and use actual hardware because I have USB audio interface laying around it and doing nothing, so it would be perfect for development. So yeah, I intend to check the numbers and where the numbers come from in the metadata.
Okay, well, please exercise all things audio in bhyve because your average data center user hasn't been doing that. I'm looking at what documentation there is for the HDA code, and gosh, it's not something you hear a lot about on these calls, so I would love to see what attention you can give that. Sounds like, no pun intended, it seems like it came from this ESOC project, and feel free to simply blog using the HDA device as is. Just belt out some docs or put them on the wiki. That would be fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, and thank you, Alexei, for that patch. Thank you. It's in there. I do see a Reddit post on using the HDA device. I'll put that in there. And hey, if you're listening, please give that a whirl and share your findings, especially if you're seeing like incorrect responses from the IO. And here's a thing. Goran, have you seen this Reddit post on latency?
I think I used the first one to set my initial environment for it.
Cool. Okay. we have covered some fantastic ground. I am so glad that Sylve is coming along and getting like refactoring prior to 1.0 rather than say, ouch, painful down the road. If I'm not mistaken, it's 1920 something UTC. Any other thoughts, questions, ideas, concerns? Let's see, going down the list. Philip, you've been quiet. Would you like the honors?
Sure. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Thank you, everyone.